some people make $500 a space, $200 a space. Some people make a lot more. Some people don't charge at all. My favorite was I hosted a show with Wall Street Bets. Utility is important, but let's be realistic. I mean, not too many projects have any utility.
Guys, in this video, we are with somebody who has changed his Web2 job to a Web3 job, where he's now traveling the world, meeting important people, attending different conferences, and just having fun. So with me is AJ, and AJ, maybe you could quickly introduce yourself.
Awesome. Good to be here. I'm AJ. I basically have been a Twitter Spaces host and a podcast host for about a year and a half to almost 2 years. Before I worked for Tesla and then solar, like renewable energy. That was pre-COVID. And then after that, I just got into Web3. I advised some NFT projects and some really cool people on Web3 and hosted amazing Twitter Spaces and with some amazing projects and people. So it's been a long story short. It's been a fun couple of years in Web3.
Tell us about the switch, selling solar panels on the one hand, and then Web3 and Twitter first on the other one. How does it happen?
It's actually not that much of a difference. Honestly, it is a different industry. It's a different world, yeah. But I was a salesperson. I was just a salesperson, and I did very good for that. It's just everything changed after COVID, and then Elon decided to put his focus on cars and Mars and stuff like that. And then it wasn't the same type of thing with Tesla. Now, it's still great. They have amazing products, and I recommend looking at Tesla Solar for sure, but it wasn't the same. But anyway, so I actually came out here for solar because I wanted to work for Tesla here and do solar. And that did not work out because of COVID. So I came back home and jumped on Twitter, jumped on Web3, and started my journey that way.
So how did you start to learn about Web3?
Oh yeah, I studied all of it. I self-taught, and then I went and got information. So basically I bought like some crypto and lost a lot of it. And then I started to realize I didn't know enough. So it was humbling. And so it was either a choice, like, do I just take the loss, on the chin, or do I go after it? So I went after it, and I started to study. I started to talk to people. I started to jump on Twitter Spaces, listen in. I didn't talk forever. At first, I just listened. And I started learning. And then one time I was actually in David Gokhstein's space, and I was frustrated because I got booted out of some Bitcoin maxing spaces, and I was starting to get a little upset because I was asking questions about other cryptos besides Bitcoin. Now, I love Bitcoin. I think it's amazing. It's the OG. But I mean, I wanted to learn. And so David actually told me, AJ, you need to stop complaining. If you want to do so, do something about it. Basically, he was saying. If you don't like it, do something about it. Stop complaining. I'm like, oh, that's a good point. I was like, okay. So then I decided to jump into actually hosting my own spaces. So then I started to host my own spaces. Then I started investing a lot of money in NFTs, different communities, and then just started to meet people. And then amazing things started to happen.
So your focus was NFTs, which I understand correctly, right?
Yes. I got screwed on crypto and then went to NFTs. Got screwed a little bit more, but I got a lot of value. So,
again, that's kind of similar to what Carl said, right? One of the first things that you have to do when you start your crypto journey, you buy some coins or you buy some NFTs and you see what happens, right? You try to understand it, maybe the technology behind it, right? Maybe the infrastructure of it. And then you see, okay, why did I lose money or why did I win money, right? You start kind of analyzing.
Yeah, you just hope you don't lose too much in the process, but you have to jump in the pool, man. There's no other way to learn. I mean, you can't, not everyone's going to hold your hand. So for me, I was just like, I'm just going to just learn. I'm going to jump in, and I made that choice. You have to either make it or not make it.
What was kind of your number one method to learn?
Twitter Spaces. But I think now learning, there's I don't know if you ever heard of a person named Zeneca. He's out here now. A great educator, great thought leader on Twitter, and into Web3 space. So now he has a Zeneca Academy. There's a few other people that do have educational, like my friend Mika. She does education on her Twitter and on her Instagram. I didn't really find it when I was on my journey. It took time and trial and error. But that's my story. That's part of my process. So I embraced it. I lost a lot, but I gained and I made, and then I lost, but I made some friends. For me, it was very easy to sell solar and Tesla because I was bullish on Tesla. I was bullish on Elon. I was excited about it, and other people want, and then I got bullish on Web3, like I was bullish on Tesla, like I'm bullish on solar. So but then I would find projects that I liked and I appreciated, founders I liked and I appreciated, and I could truly support them. I could not sell you a NFT or promote an NFT if I was not bullish on them, because then I would just, it just wouldn't come out genuine. I wouldn't have the energy for it. But like for me, I was just excited about a couple of projects. I talked about those. I explained why. I explained the situation. And yeah, so it's very similar to me.
From what you're saying, basically, I kind of make an impression that you didn't see an opportunity with solar panels and maybe with Tesla, but you saw an opportunity in Web3 with NFTs, right? And then basically you went to where the opportunity lies.
Well, I mean, we're only going to get more digital. We're only going to get more, it's only happening. So for me, I realized not just crypto or NFTs, this whole blockchain thing is not going anywhere. So I want to be at the forefront. I want to know what's happening. I want to learn. I don't want to like take forever. I don't want to be, from behind in any way. So, and then it just happened to be where like we could monetize this. I know crypto jobs, like there is a lot of Web3 jobs out there, and they need quality people that actually understand Web3, that have their finger on the pulse of Web3. I think that's where people like us come in, that have spent the countless days, weeks, and months around all these communities, talking to these people in spaces, buying, getting rugged and not be getting rugged, having ups, having downs, learning about all this, advising projects, succeeding, losing, going through that whole thing so that we have that experience under our belt and we can go assist people that we believe in or projects that we want to support.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the financials. What a person could expect as a salary if the person starts to work as a Twitter host.
Okay, well, first you got to put the work in and you got to build your own brand, and you got to have a reason why people want to hear you talk. That's first. Second, you need to figure out what angle you want to add. Like, do you want to just work for a project and be their community manager, host spaces strictly for that project? You could do that. If you want to be like, screw all that, I want to host my own stuff. I want to talk about NFTs on my own, whatever. And if somebody wants to come on my show, they have to pay, like a sponsored space. You can go that route. So there's different routes you could take. For me, last year, I could honestly say that I only supported a handful of projects because I was honestly like concerned. I don't want to support like any rugs. I don't want to do any of that. And so I'm going to do my best to be smart. And then also because, excuse me, during the bull run, I mean, there's so many projects coming out every single day. So I was like, which ones do we pick, to support? So you just got to decide. You can go the community manager route, host spaces for them, run their Twitter, and then they'll put you on like a salary or something, or pay you per space. Or you could just have your own show and educate people. Like, I think education is extremely important because a lot of new people are coming to the space. So if you're actually doing the research, and not research for like alpha, right? And they call it alpha. Research for like just how the space works, how a MetaMask works, or how, DeFi works, how not to try to like click on a bad link, store your seed phrase. Like there's stuff that are entry level that people still need. And then there's space hosts that go deeper. So you got to find your niche and your skill and just hone in on that. For me, my favorite spaces, or actually, I got more stressed out about the smaller ones, were the bigger, scary ones, where I had 2, 3, 4, 5 projects and project founders in there, and just talking, and I love those spaces. 1,000 people spaces, 500 people. Like, I felt better. Why? I am on it because I know I am around a group of speakers that can carry their own weight, and I am interested in what they have to say. So my goal isn't me talking. My goal is get them talking and find out why are they successful, what's going on with the project. And then that will trickle down to where the audience is gonna get something out of that space. So they don't feel like it's a waste. So what I would do is bring quality. So when someone comes in, listens to your space, they leave with something. Whether they're inspired, whether they learn something new, whether they figure out, oh, I like that project because that founder is cool. It finally got that founder to speak, you know? And so I think it's very important to find out what you're good at and then just attack it head on.
What was your best Twitter space you ever held?
I was so many. My favorite was I hosted a show with on Wall Street Bets. It was once a week, roughly. It was called NFT Market Talk, and those spaces got what? Well, he didn't talk too much. You know, he hosted it. I spoke on Ultra Boom. Also was a part of Twitter. By the way, he also was one of those guys that was very active in the NFT Twitter space because he was one of those. I think it's important. If you want to like get involved in NFTs, you get involved. Like you listen in, jump in. Don't just like try to throw money at it and be like, we're up. Get educated, learn what's happening with these communities, what's going on. It's important. So my favorite Twitter spaces was when basically the founder of Dogecoin came in and then the voice actor of Optimus Prime.
How do you get those people to speak at you?
There was a project named Project Xenogaki, and they hired him for to do some voice-over acting work. And he came in, and then that's my childhood, you know, Transformers, you know, Optimus Prime. So that was some of my funnest times. Project Xenogaki, chairman, and that was incredible.
What kind of salary a person could expect if he or she goes the community management route or let's say Twitter host route? Can let's say the salary replace a full-time job in Web2?
Okay, so there's Web3 advisor roles. Those are important if you understand the actual space. So you could advise projects on marketing and how to do that. Then there's, like I said, community manager roles. I don't think their salaries are that amazing. I think they're okay. Maybe you can try to figure out a deal to where like you manage them, but then you also have another show to where you can have sponsored spaces. So basically you can easily get it. I mean, you know, some people make $500 a space, $200 a space. Some people make a lot more, you know. Some people don't charge at all because they don't, you know, they're not really sure. So it's really a great area. It's not like YouTube or like even Twitch. It's actually, I wish it would change, and it needs to change, where it's like a structure to where like there's sponsors, and even says this is sponsored to like advertisers. It's like it'll get paid automatically. You could tip, you know, you could gift things on Twitch. Like I think that would be great for Twitter. So they can like get out of this gray area of like what's happening, who's getting paid, who's not. Because really, you should announce it to sponsored space. You got to say, hey, NFT Market Talk, hosted by AJ, sponsored by blah, 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 right? You got to say that, right? Or something. But I wish it was simplified, and I think Elon's going to do that.
How important is the physical location when you want to work in Web3? You said you're from California. You visited Dubai 6 times. How do you feel? How would you compare the crypto communities there with Dubai?
LA itself, they love NFTs. It's still a little like taboo. I mean, basically, they just think the whole thing's a scam, and that's not cool. It's not all a scam, but I understand their sentiment. So basically, here it's crypto NFTs is socially acceptable. It's actually like appreciated because they know it's like not just a token or whatever. It's a technology, and that it's the future. Really, it's going to be around. So for me, I love Dubai. I think they're doing great things. I love Dubai before Web3. I just think they're awesome. And so I come out here. I hope to come out here more often, and I hope to find a way to kind of maybe spend half the year here and half the way back in LA. That would be like my prime thing.
How much time per day, let's say, you spend working on Web3 stuff?
All day. Like, I mean, tweeting, retweeting, jumping in spaces, supporting. I'm building Sappy Radio for the Sappy Seals. I also assisted with Friends Radio in its infancy for the Alien Friends. And it's community-led, but supported by the team. And so basically what that does is just support the Twitter space hosts in the community, and also help try to organize these spaces hosts to actually get good content out and give it to the people and give the people like information. So it's like the founder WOB like jumps in a space, right? So like Sappy Radio would be in there with that, documenting it, retweeting it so that it's on the Twitter page of Sappy Radio. So I knew to say that for yourself, if you bought a seal, you can go to the Sappy Seals and you go to Sappy Radio and listen in to all the spaces that's been going on. And also we could just host a space from it if we choose. So there's a lot that we could do there. So I'm doing that for them, and for the community really. And then I just jump on friends' spaces, other spaces hosting. I know most of them. Just support each other. And it's a community. Yeah.
How difficult is to build the following? Because I think it's kind of important to have a decent following if you want to attract people to your space as well on Twitter.
I mean, it's all hard. Everything is hard, but the best thing to do is find what community you vibe with. That's the thing. Like, I need to be bullish on it, or I'm not going to have the energy to want to do it. It's not going to be there. So I'm bullish on this after Seals. So when I bought it and I got around that community, I'm like, I can be in spaces with these guys. I could do this. I could do that. You know. Before that, Alien Friends. They were really cool. Sean from Alien Friends is my friend, actually a friend. We spent countless hours in space together, DJing, buying stuff. He's a partner in Alien Friends, and he's a really good guy. So I would go in and I would find out who you vibe with. There's other projects too, Pudgy Penguins, The Play. These communities of people, a lot of them are diehard NFT people. You get around them, man, and then, I would buy their NFTs, support them, jump in that pool, talk to them, see what you could bring to the table. So when I bought my seal, I bought it last time I was in Dubai in November. I bought it and I was getting very bored of Web3, of NFTs. So I DM'd the founder. I don't know him. I DM'd the founder and I go, hey man, should I buy a seal? And put, yes, you should. It's like that. And 5 minutes later, he gave me back. Like, he's an active founder. I love active founders, bro. It's the biggest pain in the ass to be an active founder on Twitter. But if you are, man, it's just like amazing for the community. So within 5 minutes, bought a seal after he DM'd me that, posted it, and then I jumped in their spaces, and then I realized, man, these guys can use some spaces stuff. I cannot put that up, done that before, And then I asked him, I said, hey, what do you think of something like Sapid Radio? He's like, I love it. He's like, I'm like, for real? He's like, do it, I'll support it. I'm like, I found the Twitter, I got the Twitter done, I bought the ETH address, I got the Instagram handle, and it's been a couple months and it's been good. So awesome.
You bought Salesman because of the active community, you said, right? Because I'm active founder, right?
Yes.
The utility as well was important for you, or secondary?
Yes, utility is important, but let's be realistic. I mean, not too many projects have any utility. So to me, the utility was the community at that point. But yes, they actually have built some stuff. They have something called a meme machine. It's actually really cool. So you could put your SAPI number in there, like mine's like 391, whatever. You put it in the meme machine, and it spits out like 1,000 memes with your NFC. Isn't that cool? And you could use that, and it's going to do that for other projects. I know it's kind of like, what kind of utility is that? I'm like, man, it's a cool social utility. People need memes, And then he's going to add projects to that, and then he has other stuff. Now, of course, there's like other things, other utilities that are very important. I know like the meme machine is not like ideal, or like something that like is like what people are always going for. I think events can be somewhat utility. That's why like everybody was so mad when I think was it the Moonbirds canceled their event. Everybody got so mad. But then we got ArtStyle over here doing an event. I flew in for that. To me, being active and an active founder is a huge utility too.
Gotcha. What's next on your plate? What you plan to do from now?
Oh man, that's a good question. Find some cool people to support and be around. Continue to grow. Keep my eye on the space and see what I can do. Continue to grow Sappy Radio. Continue to hang out with his NFT project, see what's being built. Stay educated and stay ready for whatever's coming next, because the space is changing.
Maybe we'll find something cool as well.
That'd be fun. Thanks for having me on.
Man, thank you very much.
Thank you.